second case that we're involved in currently is one that's certainly been in the news in this province for a very long time. It is the polygamy reference, and we are intervening in that case along with, I think, just about everyone else in the province. I was reading the report in the media about all the interveners who had been granted status to intervene, and I kept losing count. And I know I can count at least to 10, so I think there's 20 or 30 or something. And so that's going to be a very important case. It's scheduled to be heard in November, continuing to January 2011. And it's an extremely unusual case because although it's a reference, it's going to be a trial in BC Supreme Court, so there will be evidence before the court. So very briefly, that's what we've done for you in this past year. Some of you have been absolutely instrumental in this work, and I want to recognize especially our dedicated staff, without whom none of this would be possible, our board, and our volunteers, not only for the breakfast, but for all of our activities. We could not do any of what we do without you, so thank you very much. And I also want to recognize, as Gloria has done, our donors, because we can't do this work without money. And money is what we don't have enough of, like most organizations in this province, and it's desperately needed. So the people amongst you who donate, we are so grateful for what you do. Our monthly and major donors, especially major donors are donors over $500. That's what keeps us going, particularly as we see our grant funding become a smaller and smaller portion of our budget. And the last thing that I want to say this morning is I want to tell you, since I've told you what we give you, what we need from you. We need your expertise. If you have expertise to offer to us as speakers, as policy experts or researchers, if there's any amongst you who want to go back to university and do some research for our gender audit projects, we welcome you, and we will give you pens and paper. I guess we don't use those anymore. And I don't think we have a fund of laptops for people, but we'll give you all that you need in terms of inspiration to go out and help us. We need your energy as volunteers. If you have time, if you love speaking, if you'd like, taller than me and you want to come up here, feel free. We could use that. And third, we need your money. And I know that sounds quite crass, because it is, but really that is what it is. We have suffered a reduction in our funds over the past year, although we are extremely grateful to the Law Foundation, who's kept our core funding stable for the last couple of years, and we are confident that we'll be able to continue to rely on that. But we do need money, and more particularly now than before, because this is the time when the rights of women and children are increasingly imperiled. An economic downturn is not felt the same way for everyone, and its impact on women and children in this province is severe. We need your resources, anything that you can afford to give us, so that we can deal with that, so that we can act to try and forestall some of the worst of it. And I've got to say, I'm quite worried. 2 years ago, I think, I was celebrating with you our victory in the bubble zone case that saw access to abortion services clinics for women in this province become secure. But in the last couple of weeks, I've been reading in the paper that access to contraception is being eroded in British Columbia for people with disabilities. And that seems to me to mirror Canada's position on the international front, that an initiative on women's health doesn't include access to education and control over reproductive rights. This is extremely disturbing. It's happening in BC, it's happening across the world, And these kinds of issues start to be visited upon poor women, marginalized women, but no woman is secure. And that's why I am pleading with you to please give as generously as you can so that we can keep these rights secure. Thank you very much.